What advice would I give to university students about careers? Well, banking, obviously. I didn't know there were really other things that you could do. Wouldn't doing anything else make you less valuable as a human? Am I right, guys? So when I was at university, I felt crippled by the weight of my career choices, and it felt like everyone around me was going into really traditional careers like banking and consulting and law and medicine and things like that, and it felt like those were the only things that you could do. And so in this video, I'm just going to talk about what I wish I knew about careers when I was at university and what I know now being 3 years out of university, and I'm also going to share a few useful resources as well. Lots of us are probably going to be working until we're 70 years old, and I'm 25, which means that I have got 45 years of work ahead of me. So I might as well figure out what I actually want to spend those 45 years doing. It's really important that you actually optimize for enjoyment and meaning rather than purely money, because you're going to be working for so long. So yes, you've got to balance all of the factors, but it's so worthwhile trying to figure out how you want to spend that time. I think it's really important to mention though that this is just my advice, my opinion, my experience, and that all these things to do with money and careers are very personal, very sensitive, and highly contextual to your life. So hopefully some of this will be useful, but it might not directly relate to you or even be that useful for you, but hopefully it will be. I think the first thing I want to say on this topic, which is what I would have wanted to hear most when I was at university, is that you don't have to pick a career then and there and stick to it for the rest of your life. That's not really how it works. It's actually really possible to explore and try loads of different things and set yourself up for a life of doing things that you enjoy and find meaningful, rather than picking something straight out of university you don't have much experience of and doing that thing for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, because that was the thing that you picked when you left university or kind of entering the job market. And although earning money early on in your career might actually help you, might set you up quite nicely for the rest of your life, it actually means in the long term you might get sort of trapped doing one particular thing or being trapped by the amount of money that you earn. But actually, if you don't take that higher paycheck straight out of university, you can explore and learn and figure out the things that you love to do and then worry about earning money further down the line. I also want to mention this point around like developing skills for the long term, and I'm reading this book called Range by David Epstein, which is how generalists triumph in a specialized world. And this would have really helped me when I was at university, because it's all about how you don't actually need to be like a specialist in coding or in a particular area that you think is going to serve you in the long term. We can actually just be generalists, where we have a mindset of learning and picking up new skills and working with people, and that will serve us really well in the long term throughout our careers, rather than just being like, I'm going to learn this one specific skill or just become like a real expert in this one area and that's going to serve me for my whole life. Another point to mention is don't compare your journey to everyone else. This is ridiculously impossible. I compare my journey to everyone around me, and it's really hard not to, because it's just like, you know, that's human nature to think, what if I had that? What if I'd done that? What if I did this? And like, you know, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. It's impossible not to, but try as much as you can to just understand that you have your journey and your path, and no one has ever done your path or your journey before, and no one's ever tried to solve the problems that you have before, because no one's ever existed in your specific set of circumstances before. However, it's all well and good saying like, you know, explore, try new things, take your time, all that stuff. But there are the realities of the fact that if you want to move out of home and pay rent for your own place, or you want to move to London, which is where I am in the UK, then you need to be able to afford to pay rent. And so you need to have a job straight out of university. And so what job do you get? Well, obviously there are the high paying jobs in the corporate world like banking and law and consulting and things like that. And consulting is what I did. And you can watch this video here about how I found it, how I got into it and what I thought of it. But consulting is generally a really good place to start. If you want to go into the world of business, it's a really great place to get like a general understanding and a kind of rounded experience of working in that type of environment. But one of the problems with these industries like consulting, banking and law is that the hours are quite unpredictable. You could end up working late hours or long hours, and then also the cultures tend to be quite outdated and kind of not keeping up with the modern world and the modern requirements of work. And so there are lots of other things that you can do and lots of other jobs that you can get straight out of university. And I'm not going to list all of them. I'm going to recommend you a resource called Eric Careers, which is a sort of website and app, and they have an awesome newsletter where you can see all of the different things that you can do. So on the screen right now, you can see this list of different jobs and industries, and Eric Careers give you like lots of different advice and ways of kind of thinking about these kind of things. And maybe you want to work as a freelancer or whatever it is. They basically just let you know there are more careers out there than just the ones that involve like graduate schemes and working in the City of London and things like that, which might not be the problem everyone has, but it was certainly the way I felt at university. Anyway, it's a great app, definitely check it out. Another point that I want to make is that you don't really know anything about the thing until you've tried it, and obviously you can't go around just thinking, oh, I have to try everything, but it's really easy to rule something out or exclude something because you don't actually know exactly what that thing involves. Like maybe you would actually really enjoy banking, and I know I kind of like made a joke about it at the start of the video, but actually lots of people love their jobs in banks, obviously, and maybe you would too, you just haven't tried it yet. And that logic also applies to the question, how do I know if it's a hobby or a career? You actually have to try the thing to figure it out. I really thought football could be a career for me, and I went and tried it as a football coach, and it was really, really fun. I learned loads, but the most important thing that I learned was that I don't actually want to be a football coach, and I didn't want to do sort of football as a career. Something else I think I wish I knew was that it's pointless to try and imagine what your career will look like in 40 years time. I used to think, what will I want to be doing when I'm 50 or 60? It's literally impossible, and it's just a totally worthless exercise to try and imagine what you want to be doing when you're 60 years old in 40 years time. It's ridiculous. Quite a nice idea that I heard about recently is this idea of thinking in projects, not careers. So thinking in terms of this 2-year period, this 3-year period, or this 5-year period is like a project in my kind of portfolio. And each time you start something new, you're working on a new project rather than you're working on like building a career. So for me right now, YouTube is like a project, and last year consulting was like a project for me. Instead of thinking all of these things are like trying to build some kind of career that works for me. Just quite a nice idea to kind of ease the pressure of a career. So a couple final things, and the first thing is that you need to be action biased. This is the thing I really wish I knew when I was at university. You have to be geared towards actually doing and finding out things by doing rather than just thinking about things. I wasted so much time just thinking in my head, what if I like this, or what if I wanted to try this? You actually have to try them. You have to go get work experience. You have to go try different jobs. You have to email people and have conversations with them and that kind of thing. That is how you actually get answers to your questions. And the other thing I want to mention is this 5-part framework from the book Design Your Life, which is a fantastic book about careers. Build the perfect career step by step. That's the tagline, which is pretty compelling. I'm going to make a little series about this book, but in it they have this 5-part framework, which is try stuff, be curious, hold on, gotta check the book, reframe problems, know it's a process, and ask for help. So basically, try stuff. You actually have to learn by doing. Being curious, you actually have to like think that there's so many more options out there than you know about. You have to just be curious about the world and what you can do and different ways of living and all that kind of stuff. Reframing problems, so thinking about how we think about our problems in a certain way, like our degree is going to determine what we do. That is not the case. It's actually the case that most university graduates don't actually know what they want to do after leaving university, and their degree actually doesn't relate to the thing that they end up doing. Knowing it's a process is just understanding that things take time and that you have ups and downs along the journey, but as long as you're kind of intentional with your decisions, that you'll be fine. And asking for help is just having the humility and the courage to ask for help when you need it and to understand that other people can really, really help you. So that's just kind of a rambly list of things I wish I knew when I was at university about careers. And I think the summary for me is that you basically just have to actually try stuff. You actually have to do stuff, not think about it. You have to be curious about the different options that are available to you and have the courage to not do the traditional things if you feel like you're being forced into them. Do them if you want to, do the things that you think you'll enjoy. But then the final thing is trusting that it is a process. Things take time, there'll be ups and downs. Just relax and be intentional with your decisions and you'll be absolutely fine. If you want to watch me talk about how I chose a career using this Venn diagram, then watch this video. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please drop a comment if you found anything useful, and I will see you in the next video.